Hello and welcome to this session on BIM 360 Docs. My name is Billy Sherrod. I'm the Autodesk Product Manager for Excitec. I'll be introducing the following session. So before we begin with the main details, I'd just like to make you all aware that, of course, this recording, along with all our other great content, will be stored on our Insights section of our website. So with that, before we begin primary session, just to give you a bit of insight about Excitec. We've been serving the AEC industry for over 30 years, and as a Platinum Autodesk partner, we've been supporting our customers not just with their software needs, with IT, consultancy, document management, training, consultancy, and of course facilities management. You may notice throughout various sessions of ours, and indeed on our website, that we have various different animal imagery. This represents our brand ethos and our close relationship we hold with our customers. So with that, I'll move forward and pass you over to my colleague, Mr. Steve Rudge, Head of Construction with Excitec.
Okay, thanks, Billy. Okay, so let's have a look at BIM 360 Docs. As many of you are aware, the 360 products have been with Autodesk now for many years. But I think most of us are sort of familiar with some of the products that we may be using on a day-to-day basis. So things like Glue, Field, Plan, Team, Collaboration for Revit, Layout, and all that good stuff. This product suite really is called Classic BIM 360. And what's happening is an evolution's happening with a platform called Next Generation. So the Next Generation, similar products but more integrated. And what's happening here is all these new products are being built onto a platform called Autodesk Forge. And what that's allowing us is flexibility within the system. But it's allowing us to get better products integrated better and producing a common platform for us all to move forward on. So what's it all about? Well, BIM 360 is about collaboration and coordinating shared design. Looking at issues, resolving them in real time, whether that be in the office or the field, connecting people together, data-driven decisions and continuous improvements and guided controls over handover processes. So we're trying to build a system here that's connecting the data together, making it more interoperability, making people feel part of a project team and extending people to see this data through the cloud technology. The great thing with Next Generation as well, it's not just that on the iOS Apple system, it's available through Android as well, but it's also through mobile media devices such as iPads and tablets. It's also available on phones, which is a great move in the right direction. But it's given us process and project controls and given us better optimization through the platform as well. Now today we're focusing on the BIM 360 Docs, which is the platform for the whole of the next generation of BIM 360. And Docs itself is really the document management system. It is allowing us to update the data in there, etc. But there are 3 other modules which we're going to cover in separate webinars. So next Thursday on the 30th, we're going to look at BIM 360 Design. We've got Glue coming on the 13th of September and Build is going to be on the 24th of September. So great for you if you can join us on them sessions, and we'll give you an insight into exactly what's happening with each of the new modules on the Next Generation system there. So just to add a bit of clarity, because obviously now there's 4 product areas, 4 sections of BIM 360, and obviously today we're looking at Docs. So Docs brings document management and ProjectHome, which I'll show you in a moment in detail what they are. Design is design collaboration, Revit cloud work sharing, document management is included in that product, and ProjectHome. But this is where you can buy licenses to gain access to the classic modes, such as C4R, Collaboration for Revit, and BIM 360 Team. Likewise, Glue, yes, if you want the classic products, you have to buy the Glue module now, which will give you classic BIM 360 Glue layout, and you get through to the BIM 360 Navisworks when you buy a pack of 25 of them. But there's also model coordination in there, so that's bringing models together and running real-time clash detection. So really worth coming to see the changes that's happened between classic glue and the new next generation of glue on that session. But again, you get document management and ProjectHome. And then build is about field management. It's about managing the processes, the quality of issues and checklists and that on site, but you also get project management in there. So when you look into this session, it's a lot of it is around construction management. Great. You get your classic BIM 360 field in there, but you've also got document manager, ProjectHome, and you get something called insights, which is your analytical dashboards to show how the project's performing and how we're closing out snags and issues and quality issues and things like that on the system. So yes, the BIM 360 docs is common right the way through. So document manager is common right the way through the 4 modules, and that's called your single data repository, and that's where all your data is going to be sat. But at the same time, we've introduced this ProjectHome and Insights, which is your dashboard and analytics for the data we're using. And obviously all this is managed through an administration portal, which will give people and members access to certain projects and centralising all that account so you can look across projects information, etc. So docs. Okay, so docs is really a way of controlling and publishing viewing and sharing that information. Now, hopefully you'll see in a moment how we can look at, version control and look at how we can view 2D and 3D data, but creating issues and markups in the system and things that we always need at a day-to-day basis, but it's over and above what we're getting out of standard things such like Dropbox and other tools such as that. So we've got a full control and version over all the file types that are uploaded onto the system and what we're actually viewing. We can mark up and raise issues against 2D and 3D. And we can look at tracking the way that we're updating documents, and all that's all viewable through iOS and Android online, as well as it syncs up back into the cloud. Now, obviously, design, as I've said, is more about the passing round of data through Revit, etc., and allowing us to share the design across the internet. And then glue is bringing these designs together to give us a round-trip coordination system, which allowing us to clash detect and look at model aggregation, etc. And then BIM 360 is looking at the checklist, the quality, safety management, looking at the reporting of day-to-day activities on site, and etc. So yeah, please join us for the other webinars that are coming in the future, because it's really a future of the industry, really, as we move into cloud technology and into a really integrated platform to bring things together. So what we're going to do, and what we've joined here today for, is to look at BIM 360 docs and what document management and ProjectHome is going to bring to us. Now, currently, a lot of us are still using in the design space a lot of the usual systems like SharePoint and FTP sites and connected drives and other bits that are in the market, such as your Dropboxes and Google Drives and that. But what you're not getting there really is version control, and obviously you're not getting the ability to mark up live in the cloud and pass these issues around. So it's really still proving a challenge for us to collaborate a project together and join these connected companies together in providing one source of truth as we deliver these projects. And that's really where BIM 360 Docs is coming in to try and resolve these problems and make us work together better. So within the system, as I said, we get ProjectHome, and that's about control and accessibility. We look at document management and controlling, and I'll go into all the details that we can actually do in there. We can raise issues in the system, so we can pass data around to get questions answered and get resolution to problems that we may come up against as we're delivering project. We've also can raise RFIs. Now, these may be a decision that you raise RFIs to your client to get requests for information back to you, but it'll actually come through a nice little workflow, and you can assign activities to people so they have to respond, etc. And then we've got this change management, so we can look in 2D and 3D at the changes that's happening through the design as it's actually evolving. And then obviously collaboration is the way that we can mark up the great data that's coming through to us, but getting problems solved and reacted to very, very quickly within the platform. And the main point is access your data anywhere, anytime. No matter what platform you're on, no matter what device you've got, you should be able to access and view the data that's live on your project and get to that live data that's there, not working off previous versions that you maybe carry around in paper form. So let's have a look at Document Manager. So I'll just go into the system itself, and what you'll see straight away is we can actually come straight into document management here, and it's basically through this web link here, which is docs.b360.autodesk.com. And you can access that through just a web browser. So I'm using Chrome because I think personally the viewing engine works slightly better on Chrome, but it will work on Internet Explorer or Firefox or anything like that. So the decision's yours, but I personally prefer Chrome. And what you'll see here is the interface is quite straightforward and simple. And the first thing really is here we've got a drop-down list, and this will give you access to all your live projects that you're working on. Now, obviously, I've got a test environment here that we're just using today to demonstrate the product. Now, the first thing we really need to see is how this interface is here and to help us. Now, the first thing you've got these 9 little dots here, and what these do, it will take you to different modules that you've got activated on your project through the BIM 360 Next Generation Suite. So you can see here, document management will give you ProjectHome and document management. If you get other modules added to the system, you will see them pop up here. So project management, as we know, is part of build, but I've been given access to it from somebody else on this project, so I can access it there. And then obviously these are where you invite people to the project, etc., through project admin and through account admin, etc. So let's concentrate first of all on document manager. And with document management, what it is really, it's a great tool to bring everything in from your design platforms, from external parties, from data sheets to documents to drawings to models. And we can sort of view over 100 file formats now within the system. We are beginning to get links into like Microsoft Word and Excel files. At the moment, it's on the US server and not the EMEA server, but that's coming, and it's an evolving new product really that's coming onto the market. So really, let's just go through the structure, because what we've got here, we've got different ways to view what's happening in the system. We've got folders and sets, which we'll come back onto. So if we start looking at the folders, you can see first of all that we've got 2 sections. We've got plans and we've got project files. Now, the best way to use the system is using plans as your work in progress data sets upload. So this is where you're passing around changes that are happening all the time. You're passing information back and to between the different design parties and disciplines, and getting resolution to issues and problems that you may have during that technical design or concept design process before it's actually going out for construction, etc. Once you're looking to share, publish or archive a file, this is then used in the project files area. So this area is really for issuing a drawing for a specific reason and a specific status really. So just be aware of the 2 areas, and they do react slightly differently, because what happens really in the plans area is we are looking at, let's take this architects folder for example, and we're going into models, but what happens is I can upload a Revit file in here. Now the Revit file itself is obviously containing sheets and views and things like that. Now what happens is when we upload the Revit file, which is here, it will automatically strip out the views that are embedded within the Revit file itself and allow us to view them. So just for example, here is the Revit file itself. So obviously I can view the Excitec building here, I can do all the usual viewing tools, etc. But at the same time, linked to that is a 2D drawing which is embedded in there. Now, the beauty of it is the fact that if I come here, you see I can't download the file or print this at the moment. And the reason for that is because it's embedded in Revit. If I try to download it, it'll actually download the full Revit file rather than just this drawing. And that's protecting everybody, so you can't actually issue a drawing or print it or anything and work from it. So yeah, so some great tools here. But if you load a Revit file down in the project files area, it is just the Revit file on its own. So you may want to strip out sheets and views depending on the project and what's in your execution plan standards for your project delivery, etc. So let's have a quick look in some more detail here, because what we've actually got is some real great tools for us to start viewing this technology. Now, first of all, we're looking at a drawing here. I've got some usual tools that you would expect from an Autodesk product. So by just scrolling my middle mouse button, I can zoom in and out. I can hold it down, the middle mouse button down to zoom and pan around, etc. And what I've also got is this little button on the left here called History. So what that's allowing me to do is actually see the different versions of the file. And I may want to see where the drawing was at version 2. So you can see now that I can start looking into the past and start looking at what's changed in the drawing and model as it's actually been uploaded into the system. Now that's all well and good because we can do that with models, we can do that with drawings and all that good stuff. But what would be really good is if we can actually see the changes and start comparing with the problems. So again, let's just open this 3D model here. So okay, so we're on version 4, but that might have just been uploaded and I want to see actually what's changed. So what I can do is hit this button here. When I select this button, we can now compare different versions of this model. So I can select compare, and what it'll do is the system will go off and compare the two different versions of the file and come back with some results. So you can see here I've got 2 elements added, I've got 3 that's been removed and 14 that's been modified. So I can switch these off just so I can filter to the 2 added. So I can see here, they're the 2 elements. If I zoom in, I can see these are the 2 elements. If I click them, it'll highlight them and actually explain what's actually happened to these 2 systems. So you can see in this instance, these have been added to this version of the latest model. If I go to the next tab, I can start seeing that we've actually got some changes to this panel in here. So again, I can click through and it's showing me the changes and again what's happening. I can also look at them in a slightly different way here. So you can see it's this curtain wall element that's changed. If I switch these off and just go to modified, again in this view I can start seeing all the different components and elements in the model that's been changed. If I actually select one, it's going to give me some of the properties that's actually happened with the system. So I can start seeing any changes in movement or anything like that. So if I select this door, showing model, it's been moved by a certain distance in the model, etc. So really, really useful because we do receive a lot of models and we can't get to the detail of exactly what's happening there because there may be so many changes. But also what's useful is obviously we get issued 2D drawings. So I'm just going in now to the project files and I'm just going to open a PDF file, which is here. So there's the PDF. Now I've got markups on here. So these tools here will allow me just to switch these off to give me a clear drawing, etc. And again, I've got the compare feature here. So when I load this up, I can hit compare. And what that's doing is the same analytics that is done in the 3D environment, but you can see it's presented in a slightly different way. So I can see that in blue is where elements were in version 2. In red is where it's been moved to. So you can see this wall's been added, etc. We can zoom in and look in detail what's happened. So a double door has been removed and a single door with a glazed panel has been added in version 3. So we're beginning to see a lot of data that way. We can also look at this in another view like that, and we can actually move this. So if you look at that change that we had on this partition wall, if we move that back and 2, you can actually see the old drawing with the new drawing. So some really, really good tools there, I think. Obviously, if we go back again to the model file, so again, just going into the plans and just opening our model there, we have some great tools in here. And what we've got is some of the viewing capability. You know, with it being an Autodesk platform, we've obviously still got things like the sectioning tools. So we can put a section on there, and if I pull this yellow arrow I've still got all the features that you would expect when you're viewing models, etc. I've also got a model browser, so I can start switching things off. If I just switch that off, and obviously I can switch the roof off here. I can switch all sorts of different elements off, etc. And you can see that it's gradually ghosting out elements in the model, etc. So I've got all that capability in here, and I've also got properties. So if I select anything, it'll show me the properties of anything that I'm selecting. Again, some really useful features, but the better way to get to some of these things is, again, if I open the floor plan as this, what's really great about this, you can see we've got some section markers, but actually if I go over the section marker, it's actually going to open the relevant drawing where that section is, which is here. But another great tool is the fact that I can select a door, but I can look at that in a split view. So by selecting that door there, I can go to it in a 3D environment. And again, I can get to that there and look at the properties of the door. So as I move to the next, it's moved to the next door. So we can start getting to some of the elements in a 3D environment that's actually shown in 2D drawings. And I think that is really, really useful information, because we're actually still getting to all the great asset data that's embedded into the models, etc. So that is a really, really good feature moving forward. Okay, so other things we've got as well is the fact that we can measure in the platform. Now, obviously, with it being Revit, things are going to be drawn to scale. But what we've actually got as well is, if we come down into your project area and open, say, a PDF, if we open this PDF here, you might say, well, actually, I'll measure on here, but obviously a PDF's never to scale. So what we've got is the ability to calibrate this. So we might say, okay, I'm going to snap on to that grid line, and I'm going to snap on to the endpoint of that grid line, and I'm going to say, okay, between them 2 points, I'm going to change that to 6,000 millimeters, so 6 meters. And what that's done, it's rescaled the model completely. So now I can come in and start snapping onto the PDF to give me the size of rooms and things like that. And you can see now it's actually in the correct dimensioning and not to PDF, which isn't to scale. So that's really a nice feature that we can do in the system now, etc. Something else that's really useful, obviously, is Markup. Now, obviously, this is a tool that we're trying to push around the design teams and get information and comments back and to each other, so we can resolve them collaboratively, but again, in better real time, etc. So if we sort of looked at this area of the drawing and we said, right, okay, I don't like the layout of this area, you could mark this up. So down here, you've got the likes of add a markup. Now you can see by selecting that, it's actually changed how the tools are viewing on the system. And we've got different features here. So I might say, okay, I want to raise a cloud around that area. I might want to put some text. So review layout. And what you've got once you've done that, really, you've got this little button here. Now you can see at the moment it's private. So I could mark something up just for my own information, so only myself could view it. If I want other members in the project team to view this, I'll publish it. And now when it's done, everybody in the project who's got access to here can view this markup. Now, as you come into a model, you might say, okay, there's various things marked up on here. What's happening? So if you come to the little toolbar on the left-hand side, as we open this, we can get details of each of the markups, like say, and then we can zoom to each one as and where they've been marked up, etc. But also what we can do is start adding attachments to it. So if we had a suggested data sheet for the new door that wanted to be amended here, we can actually add attachments. So we may go in here and sort of say, right, okay, if we go into the shared area, the architect may have some documents loaded up. I may have a brochure for a suggested door that they want to actually see. So when the next person comes in, they can actually come look at all the attachments and view the documentation that may be embedded behind the system to elevate what the change recommendation is or the comment that's actually happening in the system. So great way of doing things. We can obviously create markups in this instance as well. What we can also do as well is look at the way we raise issues. So if I just move over here, second icon down to issues are slightly different. Because with an issue, you can see there's a workflow embedded behind it. So at the moment, the workflow is new. So you can see here, first thing I need to do is drop a pin. So again, I might say, right, okay, I'm going to drop a pin there. That's where the issue is. That's the problem I've got to try and resolve. So door will not fit. Description, we need to look at a smaller door. Okay, so we've got a description in there, but I'm going to assign this to somebody. So I might say I'm going to assign it to this person out the architects team to review if we can change that door. The location, so I could put the boardroom just so everybody knows where it is, but I want this to be looked at and resolved by Friday. So I've given it a date and everything for it to do, and now we hit create. So as you can see now, this is open. The person I've assigned it to here will get an email to say an issue has been raised against you. So they can log into the system and open the issue. They can look at this. Okay, and again, what they can do is, okay, I can add an attachment. So I might add it out of here or upload a data sheet from the computer, etc. So let's just add one, that same file that we've got before. Architects, and it was in documents. Okay, we can open that folder and we just add the brochure we've got for the door in there. So I'm responding to it, but all the time this is happening, we're seeing activity behind. And I can also add a comment here that people can see. Please hurry. But it's maybe not open now. I may be able to respond with an answer. So if I change that to answered, okay, so I could say new door attached in documentation. Done. So you can see, but by that workflow will be assigned to different people, and we can get full tracking and information embedded on there. So really useful stuff here for raising issues and things of that nature. I mean, the other one as well is for RFIs. Now, I would say that issues are things that you would keep internally. So keep between your design teams and things to resolve with design issues. RFIs, I would suggest you keep them really at raising things against your client. So getting information, requests for information off your client. And it's exactly the same as raising an issue, really. We open it, we can place the pin, etc. Notice it's square and not round. The title, please review that. Question, do you need this many seats in the office? Because only the client will know that. Maximum of 20 seats allowed for. We can add an attachment again, but this time we could assign it to just the client. A location again, boardroom. Again, it's just, so you can see very, very similar, but you can see slightly different here. It's been assigned to this, but we may be able to assign this to another reviewer. So I'm going to give that to that person, so they actually can review at the same time, and I can put it on a distribution list as well. So this issue is the RFI is going to be sent to lots and lots of people, so they can come in, open it again, and react upon it to try and get a response to an RFI that's raised. So really, really good stuff in the system to get that collaboration approach. Now you're probably saying, right, okay, but all this information at the moment, I can see everything. Well, it's not really, because what we've got within the system itself is we've got full permission levels. And that's something really that, sort of things like Buzzsaw was a bit behind the times with. But what we've got is everybody that we want to assign to a thing. So we might say, okay, add Rudge Steve to this folder, but what permission have they got? Now you can see here we've got, sort of 5 different instances. They may only want to upload because you may be responding to a tender. They may only want to be view only, so you might give your client access to this area, but allow them just to view the documents, but they can still add markup and issues, but they can't upload content to it because they're not a design author, etc. I mean, the next one may be design upload. You can design, upload, and edit. So different people can have different access. If you're not giving people access to that folder, they can't see anything in there, and the folder structure will be far, far simpler over here on the left-hand side. The other thing as well is what you've got is, if you're the architect, you want to know if anybody's actually uploaded anything to that folder. So you can actually subscribe to this folder, all relevant folders and subfolders. So if anything now happens in this folder, this person and I will get an email to say, yes, all right, I can see everything that's happening within that system. And I think that's really good. Okay, so another thing as well is we obviously issue things in work packs and packages. Now, something really new to the system is sets. So within sets, what it's allowing us to do is we can start pulling together documentation. So you can see here we've got different tender packs that may have information embedded within it. So if you look at Windows, we've got one drawing that's capturing the windows. But what happens is when we're in our folders view again, we may have a pack in here that you want to upload some files. So you can see I'm just going in. So I'm just going to upload maybe 2 documents. Now I'll go through them. So these 2 are being uploaded into the system. Now this template is going to be used to strip out the data off the drawing frames, and it'll populate into the system. So I could set that up like so, but you can see here it's not assigned to a set. Okay, so you don't want it uploaded to a set, upload to a new set, and these are your existing sets in the system. So let's make a new set, and we might have this as wall finishes. And you want to upload it on this date, etc., and we'll continue. So then 2 drawings will be uploaded to the system and assigned to that set. Okay, so while that's working in the cloud, I can actually say, well, okay, as an architect, I also want to upload some files, and I've got this brochure. Okay, now you can see here it's going to be uploaded to a different folder, but what I can do is look at assigning it as well to wall finish. So it's grouping files together, so they're actually added. So you can see there, and I can continue. So I've got lots and lots of documents being uploaded into the system, but it's all been assigned into these sets and grouped together as we move forward. So there's the wall finishes. It's nothing uploaded yet because it's in the cloud and it's just processing. So you're probably saying, well, how do I know what's happening here? So over here, what we've got is a way of seeing all the information that's happened in the past. So you can see there, that's now being published. This here is now being extracted, etc. So they're coming into the system as it's getting uploaded into the BIM 360 cloud. You can see here I've got an exclamation mark. So what this is saying to me here, I've got a slight problem with the system itself. So a drawing was uploaded, but it failed to extract all its data off the drawing frame. So I need to look and address that as it's coming. Okay, so I mean, hopefully that's give you a full overview really of the system. The folders, the issues that we can view here and sort of viewing them as they're open and closed, etc. Some of the workflows that's happening in the system. Something else that's only came out 2 days ago actually is the ability to print out the system as well, which is something we've not been able to do in the past. So again, you might come into here, open the architect's drawings, just to show you this, how it works. And we come into the viewer. So the new feature that's been added here is the fact that coming down here, we can download the source file, we can export it, or we can actually print. So that's a nice feature to be able to print directly without having to download in the system, etc. So all good stuff. I mean, what's happening as well, as we're working in the system, you can start seeing things that are happening. So if we look at this drawing here, you can see this has had markups, issues raised, and RFIs raised, but it's not assigned to any sets. If we go to other ones, you'll see that this model's in here. As we come over here, that's had 2 marks up against it, that's had 1 issue, etc. So you can see that it's really informative of information that people are marking up, and you will get email notifications as well. So another product really that's come with Docs when you buy that module, obviously Document Manager, but what you've got also over here is the fact that we've got ProjectHome. So what ProjectHome is a way of showing the analytics that's happening within the project itself. And as it's uploaded, you can see you've got location map of the address, the weather that's happening on there. If that's if you're in construction, that's really important to see if there's anything that's impacting the areas. You can see these RFIs that we raised are here, the documents that have been had issues against them and things like that. So you can see you're beginning to get this analytics to see what's happening throughout the project. And we can actually click on these and it'll take you to the issues, the RFI that's been raised, and actually see what's happening in the system, etc. So some really good tools there. So the beauty of BIM 360 Docs is the fact that you don't have to just use it on a laptop in a site office or anything. We can use it out in the field and things like that. We can use it while we're mobile in design team meetings, etc. So what I've done here is a quick recording of the platform as you get it on an iPad. But as you can see, the folder structure is a duplicate of what we've just been looking at on the dashboard. And you can see that we can get into the system, we can open folders, but we've also got the 2 environments. So we have the project files and the plan views, etc. So you'll see this, there we go, project files, plan views. You can see issues and RFIs in the system, etc. So we can change the folder. There we go, we're into plan views. We can now select the folder of the architect. As that opens up on there, we're back to that same structure that we've just been working in. So models, we can have the thumbnail shots of it. We can open the model in there. And obviously the markups or anything that we've made and issues that have raised in the desktop will obviously be viewed in here. But we've still got the ability to do some of the great viewing tools, while we're out and about. And it's just that connected way of being able to section and do things while we're out of the office, etc. And you can see at the top here, we can still, change the version of things at what we're looking at, etc. We can still do things like measurement, as you can see here. So a lot of the tools that we're getting in the main application online, we're getting in mobile media, etc. Other things as well we can do is obviously we can look to open drawings up as usual. We can move to the project plans. We can start looking again at maybe that shared area, go into the architects folder, open drawings, and again we might open the PDF like so, and there's the markups that we had that were online, etc. So it's just showing really that we've got a full integrated system with the ability to online on an iPad, is hit the plus on the bottom left and raise new issues. We can raise new markups. We can, as you can see up here, keep things private. If you're out on site and spot something in a design team meeting, you may think, oh, I'll have a look at that later. Make a little comment to yourself in the system and keep it all embedded. Now, again, just to confuse things, really, we've got an app called BIM 360 Docs, but we've also got an app called BIM 360. Both very similar, but you can see here in the BIM 360 one, it is slightly different just in the presentation. You can see we've still got projects and plans and we've still got the same folder structure. But you can see we've just got different ways of viewing at the bottom the documents, the issues, and RFIs, etc. So again, it's personal preference. I prefer the BIM 360 app. It seems that the graphics is slightly better, and we've got better control over what we can do with the markups and issues and do measurements in there. So by preference, probably use BIM 360, but you can see here, quick markup. We can do it exactly the same in both platforms. We've got the private and the publish still at the top. And when we hit, select done, it's going to push that into the cloud, so we can see it on the iPad platform, or we can see it live in the iPads and mobile media devices. And don't forget also, we can view this on mobile devices, so phones, which is really, really useful if you're out on site and you want to quickly see a drawing or raise an issue on the phone, etc. So yeah, lots going on. These arrows here will swap you between the drawings, so very, very flexible. We've still got the links to the sections and all that on the iPad, so some real great tools there. And as I've said, because this is a cloud system, there's lots of change in the system. And as you can see here, this is a blog, so please make a note of this. But basically what this will give you is an insight into the changes. So this was only 2 days ago, and as you can see, sets, prints, and download direct from the viewer have just been added. But as you come down here, you start to see things that have been added to the system just over this month. So it's in a changing environment, it's an improving environment, but really exciting times. And there's a full link to the roadmap. So please, it's worth taking a note of this link here, really. So yeah, just to summarize up really. So, please be aware of the next webinars that are coming up, because they'll give you insights into the other 3 modules of the new Next Gen BIM 360 platform. And obviously, thanks for joining. If you've got any questions, please respond to the email that's attached to this. And there's my email address as well. So please feel free to contact me direct, and we can have a good discussion about any concerns and any problems you may have around docs. But obviously, it's a great platform now. It's evolved from where it was sort of 12 months ago, and it's a feasible one now to actually use on projects and really use going forward.